motorcycle ride. I hope you're doing well today. We're just hanging out. I have my motorcycle over here. I'm on the KLX today, riding in God's country. It's very beautiful here. And I got this beautiful KLX, and I'm just riding up and down these mountains today, alone again, alone. A lot of times the guys can't go riding or they don't want to go riding or whatever. It's Sunday afternoon, and I've been in the house most of the day working in my garden too. And I want to go motorcycle riding. So I'm up here on top of the great mountain. You know, the Philippines is God's country. It's beautiful. It's so nice up here. So gorgeous. And I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're doing good. And it's just a beautiful country, a beautiful land. And we're here on a motorcycle ride. And today we're going to just talk about a few experiences I had in the Philippines. I've been in the Philippines for a while, so I've had a chance to have some experiences in this great country, and it's been really cool. I guess the Philippines is not for everyone, but it's sure a cool country for me because I guess I've learned how to just deal with things, like the brownouts and the different things like that, and the earthquakes, typhoons, the rain, the brownouts in the Philippines. There's always a brownout in the Philippines. But it's okay because I have a motorcycle. I can go riding. But it's really cool in the Philippines. And today we're going to just talk about a few stories, things that have happened to me. You know, I've had some crazy experiences in the Philippines, and they've been kind of dangerous sometimes. And sometimes they've been kind of exciting too. But hopefully we're not going to get rained on today because there's always rain in the mountain. There's always lots of rain coming. We're on top of the great mountain, and I'll show you the mountain here. It's really cool. So there's the mountains. We're just cruising around the mountains today. Woo! We're back. We're back. And we're just hanging out. Get that camera straight. Straighten that camera up. But the Philippines is really cool. You know, I've had so many good experiences. And, you know, when I came to the Philippines, I didn't really believe in supernatural things. And the first thing I heard in the Philippines was the aswang. The aswang. Do you know the aswang? The aswang is a Philippine fable. If you're Filipino, you probably know what the aswang is. And I kind of thought it was just like a joke, but a lot of people have experienced these things, especially in different provinces. And I never seen an aswang, but I've heard of stories like at a barangay basketball court, like around midnight or something, there was an aswang flying around or whatever. So a lot of people testify of it. And some people were sleeping so that they really couldn't experience what it was like to see aswang. But there's lots of things kind of strange in the Philippines. And there's lots of fables. You know, the Philippine people, they have lots of fables. You know, they kind of believe in lots of different supernatural things. And I know I've experienced supernatural things in my life, so I tend to believe that it's possible. And I've experienced, you know, different kinds of unidentified objects in the sky. And I've just had all kinds of weird experiences in my life. And they've been scary, to be honest with you. So let's see, I gotta read. Yeah, you didn't believe in supernatural experiences, and that stuff does exist. You know, man. Thank you so much, JMARIO. Hey, Joseph, how you doing? I got my glasses on. I can't read the fine print because I'm like blind as a bat. But can you hear me? I got my microphone on, so I could like walk around and I could talk to you. Here's my KLX. I'm just like I'm at the very top of a mountain right here. Like I'm at the very peak, the very top, and it's just gorgeous here. And I'm just alone riding my motorcycle and just having fun. But yeah, supernatural things really do exist. And they're kind of weird because, when I was like growing up, like younger and stuff, I didn't believe that supernatural stuff existed. And I had no belief in anything supernatural. I always believed that supernatural stuff was like a fable, was fake. And I was kind of very strong anti supernatural. But I start having experiences with things, and I'm like, hey, what's this? What's that? And I have not been to Colombia. Is it Colombia? Is that in the Philippines, or is that like the Colombia in South America? But I don't know if there's a Colombia in like the Philippines, but I haven't been to that one. I haven't been to South America, Colombia either. And yet, no, I haven't been to South. I've only been to Brazil in South America. I went there twice. I went to Sao Paulo, and I went to kind of Sao Paulo again, and Rio de Janeiro. I was at Rio de Janeiro, and that place is crazy. And I'm kind of nervous about South America because they don't speak English too much, and it was kind of wild and dangerous. And I had to have a translator because they spoke Portuguese in Brazil. And but I haven't been to Colombia, but I heard they have some pretty girls in Colombia. Yeah, the Philippines do believe in a lot of mystical things. Like people always tell me, I'm going to read Kariput, believe in a lot of mythical and supernatural stuff. Yeah, Filipinos do. Yeah, and yeah, you just have to stay away from like the bad people and stuff, and especially supernatural stuff. But I have one experience that I had with supernatural in the Philippines. And I've had other supernatural experiences like in America. And I've had a few crazy experiences. I don't go camping no more at night because I like had a very scary experience. I'll tell you later that one. That was in America. But in the Philippines, there's in another area that I go motorcycle riding way up in the mountains over here. There's a beautiful area with trees. It's wooded. And I was thinking, I bought like a camping tent and a lantern, for nighttime. And I was going to like go camp out under this big tree. It's a very like sort of cool place. But I accidentally ran over a snake on the motorcycle, and I start thinking, God, there might be a lot of poisonous snakes up here, so maybe I better not do it. But I went ahead and was thinking about camping out in this one area with this big tree. It was really cool. And I thought that would be fun and make like a scary show, like, I don't know if you've seen those scary shows like from America where they're like camping out and they're hearing noises outside the tent, and they're like, what's happening outside? Like there's something moving. Did you hear it? And there's things moving and animals and stuff. And so I was like thinking of doing that, making a scary show. And I didn't believe that there was anything in that area. And yeah, you got to stay away from all the mythical things and weird stuff. But I didn't know it. But I went ahead and like I was like thinking I would go camp out in this area. And little did I know that there was like supernatural stuff right there in that area. But at the time, I didn't know that. I thought that this area was like kind of like nothing was there. But I kind of got chickened out because I ran over that snake. And I thought, God, there's a lot of snakes here. So I better not come here to this spot. So anyways, I was riding down the mountain and I got to this spot. This was like a year or two ago. And I was riding my Husqvarna big bike. I have a big bike, and it's very loud and noisy. And I get to this like area where that tree was, where I was going to go camping, and there was like a bumblebee flying around me. Now my nickname is the Bumblebee, or Bryan B, and I'm a retired motorcycle rider. And so this bumblebee was attacking me, and I don't have bumblebees attacking me. Yeah, I kind of got scared thinking I would go in the tent, you know, because like I'm all alone and there's nobody with me, and I'm in an area where there's a mystical creatures and there's snakes, and I'm not really too scared of, you know, things, but I start thinking, you know, maybe this is dangerous. So anyways, this bumblebee was attacking me, and I have it on a blog, so you can see it on my YouTube channel, and it's called the Capre. And so I was kind of swatting this bumblebee around. This thing was attacking me, and I was kind of mad. I was like, "Get away from me, bumblebee!" I'm not too scared of bumblebees really, because they don't really scare me. But this bumblebee kept attacking me. And I heard that the capre can change into different forms of creatures, which I think is crazy. You know, like I can't even really believe I'm saying that, but I read that they can do that. And this thing was attacking me, and I never really get attacked by anything really. And so I'm sitting there and I get off my motorcycle, and it's very loud. And then I hear rustling in the bushes, and I look over, and there's this like, I don't know what it was. It was like a dark figure, maybe 7 to 9 feet tall. It was big, and it was kind of like shaded. It was in a shady area in the bushes. And I was like, what was that? It looked like a Bigfoot, you know, like a Bigfoot. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, like I wasn't really scared, to be honest with you, because I'm a little bit bigger guy myself. So I was like, you know, I will just like see what's happening here. And so I go over to the bushes to see the Bigfoot. I walked over to this Bigfoot, and I never knew that the Philippines had these kind of things. And I was shocked because, you know, it was just like out of the blue. So I walk over to the bushes to greet the Bigfoot. I want to meet this guy. I had my video camera. I was going to like do some video camera taping. And the thing disappeared. It was like poof. And I said, what the heck? And then I was looking for this creature thing. I don't know what it was. It was a big black hairy object. So I'm looking around for this like creature, and then I hear this big black crow right above my head going, caw, caw, caw. And I'm like, what was that? And I look up, and it was huge. It's a big black crow, and it was screaming, ah, ah, ah. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? I'm very shocked because this black hairy thing is gone now. The bumblebee's gone, and there's a big black crow above my head screaming at me like, get out of here, get out of here. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, no way, this can't be true. So anyways, I kind of like kind of like freaked out, but I was filming at the time. I was actually doing a blog. So this was really live happening, and it was kind of, you know, it's kind of startled. And I was like, what was this thing? And it kind of was disappeared. And I figured after that crow was like yelling at me, I figured maybe it's time to go, you know. Something doesn't want me there. And so I went home. We got another comment here. Yeah, it was huge. I don't know. It was big. I couldn't see it though very well. It could have been a witch. Um, the best I know is I went home and I started studying, like, Googling like mythical creatures in the Philippines. Like, what could this be? Like, what's happening here? Because I'm a foreigner and I don't like know all this stuff. This is new to me. Like, I'm not like raised like being taught about witches and Ashwang and Aswang and all these things. And I found out that there was something called the capore, and it was large, black, hairy, and it changes into different objects. But they don't like men. And this thing definitely didn't like me. It didn't really want to attack me. It wasn't like trying to hurt me. So I felt kind of safe in a way, but it was spooky. Anytime that you have a mythical experience, it's kind of like scary, it's kind of hairy because like you don't know what's happening here, like you're shocked. But I'm kind of like a bigger guy, so I said, well, I'll defend myself if I have to. But the thing was like running away from me or whatever. So, and I found out that the capre, it it doesn't like men, and especially maybe foreigners who have a different like speech than, let's say, a Filipino. So I have a different like voice and and I'm bigger than a lot of Filipino guys. So this thing, I think, didn't like it. He wanted to get away. So I found out it's possible it could be the capre, but I'm not sure. And we got a couple comments from Simple. Do you know Chanook? Chanook. No, I don't know what that is. And Walk here. They also have and Journeys in Bohol. I'm gonna go visit Bohol soon. I want to go see that place. But I don't know the Walk, and I don't know the other one, the Charnook. And but I believe that it's possible. Anything's possible. And I don't know what this thing was, but it was scary. And it kind of like changed into different like animals, like it kind of morphed into different things. I never experienced that in my life. So I'm like, what is this? So that's the best I could know what it was, a capre. So on my YouTube channel, I posted like, Bryan B, with capre or something, because I didn't know what this thing was, but it was spooky. And I go back there many times, but not camping. I go back riding my motorcycle, and sometimes I stop and I try to summon this creature to come visit me, but it doesn't come back no more. So I tried to like, make contact with it, because I'm not really too scared of it, even though it's really bizarre when you're in that situation. It's kind of like you're in a scary movie, and things are kind of like, I don't know, it's like the world is kind of shaking around you. It's really weird. It's like freaky. It's like, oh, this is different. It's not the same as, let's say, right now where I'm talking to you. It's really like you're kind of in a movie, and kind of the world's kind of morphing around you and spinning. And it's like, this is weird. It's just like bizarre. But I kind of liked it. I mean, it was kind of something different. But let's see, what do we got? Another comment. Thanks for commenting. I just looked Capri up. They said they sit near trees and smoke. Haha. Yeah, Jamero. That's, I did not smell this, to be honest with you. I did not smell the cigarettes or whatever the heck they smoke. Cigars, marijuana. I don't know what they smoke. But I did not smell anything. I did not smell any kind of tobacco or anything like that. But it was near a big tree. And that's one thing that I thought that could be the capre, because there's big trees all around that area. And the capre likes to sit in the trees, and they like women. They don't like men. So the thing didn't really want to hang out with me too much. But maybe if I was a foxy woman, maybe it would want to like visit me. But they're black, and they're kind of dark, and they're hairy, and they're stinky, and they probably don't take showers and stuff. So I don't know too many Filipinas pretty, any Filipinas. I don't know too many pretty, ugly, whatever. I don't know any Filipinas that want to like hang out with a capre. And they love the women, but they don't like the men, I think, is from what I know. So what else we got? I know marine biologists, and the water is more scary. Yeah, the water is more scary, Steve. Yeah, the water is really scary. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on, and there's all kinds of like weird stuff in the ocean. You know, we know like only a few percentage of what's in the ocean. Like 98% of the ocean is unexplored. There's crazy stuff in the ocean. I talked about the shark attack I had last time, two of them, one in Mexico, one in Hawaii. But there's strange things in the ocean. And more lately, they're finding a lot of like uh, unidentified objects coming out of the ocean, living in the ocean, living in Antarctica and the ice caps. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on. I don't know if there's mermaids or not. There's weird stuff in the ocean, living creatures. We know only a couple percentage of what's happening down there. So the ocean is really a whole new world. I scuba dive, but I scuba dive close to the shore. So I don't really go 100 miles out in the ocean. So the ocean's deep, it's big, it's unexplored. And you know, NASA, they sent some people down low, I think in the Mariana Trench. I don't know if that was NASA or another expedition. They went down near the Philippines here. Yay, Philippines. And it's the deepest part in the world is right here off the Philippines called the Mariana Trench. And it's like 2 or 3 miles deep. It's really deep. And they sent a submarine down there, and I guess it was a scary experience. And you know, after some of the things that were not reported that were seen, I think it was NASA and other like people like that, agencies, they don't go down there no more because maybe they saw something, and maybe there's something down there that we should not know about. So the ocean is full of mystery, and the ocean has a lot of like supernatural stuff. And I've seen a lot of videos of like unidentified objects going in the ocean near like the Navy ships and different things like that, research vessels, and they just disappear. And I don't know, there might be a whole new world underneath there. You know, there's that old fable of Atlantis, you know, that beautiful city of Atlantis under the ocean. So there's lots of mysteries in the ocean, and we don't know all of them. And the ocean's kind of a dangerous place. So don't go hanging out in the ocean, you know, and just stay off the ocean as much as possible, because the ocean, in the Bible and stuff, they say that the ocean is kind of, there's some references, and I don't know if it's true, but they say the ocean is kind of it's kind of mm, the domain of the ocean is ruled by like the devil, Satan. So Satan has power over the waters. So you got to really be careful when you go in the ocean, and especially deep. And I've been in deep water before, and it's scary. And I believe it, because the ocean is so easy to die in the ocean, you know, drowning. I've scuba dived deep in the ocean, and I almost like died. And, you know, it's easy to die in the ocean. So stay out of the ocean. Especially, you can go in the shallow, but not the deep, deep ocean, because there's a lot of weird stuff and mysteries in the ocean. It's dangerous. And yeah, that's right, Jamer. That's where the aliens go, in the ocean. Yeah, we know 5%. That's what I heard, like 5% of the oceans. And the aliens, they can go into the ocean and they can go full speed. So we as humans, we go like in a submarine, and we're very slow because, you know, we have the friction of the water. But the alien ships, when they go in the water, they just go full speed. I don't know how that happens. Don't even ask me. But they can fly in the sky with like no known propellers and stuff like that, proportions, and they can just kind of do stuff that we don't really know. So it's kind of weird. And to think that like a UFO can go under the ocean and go full speed, like it's like in the sky, in the water, is kind of crazy, because like all we know is our laws of physics, that when you go in the water, it slows you down. So it's kind of weird to think that anything like a craft could go in the water and go 200 kilometers an hour in the water. It's like, huh, under the water. That's crazy. So that's what they say. It's true. So I've never experienced that myself, but I've seen videos. So I believe it's possible. Oh, Jamero, come scuba dive in Hudson River. The only thing find is toxic fish and dead bodies, courtesy of the mobs. The Hudson River, where's that now? Is that like the Hudson? I've heard that river. I'm not sure where it's at, but in the Philippines, it's beautiful diving. And I've only dove like in the Philippines, Hawaii, and California. And I learned to dive in Hawaii, and then I went back to California and I dove a lot. It's cold water in California. It's very freezing cold. And I had a very traumatic experience. There's a cow way over there coming up the hill. If you see my friend, the cow, he wants to come see me. I guess you have cows running around the mountains. But yeah, I went down deep in the water and it was kind of scary. And the problem with like going deep in the ocean is that, like if you have one problem, you're going to die, because if you're very deep, you have to do what's called equalizing yourself. You can't just go straight up to the surface. If you're, let's say, 30 meters deep, you can't just go straight up. If you, let's say you lost your oxygen or your air, so you have to like go slow. And of course, if you're dying, you don't want to go slow. And if you go up fast, you'll get the bends. So it's kind of scary. I went down 30 meters or so. And then I looked up and I saw like how far it is up there. And I said, and I was with some new divers, and they were taking their tanks off with their BCD vests, and they're doing like exercises, and the water was moving like this. And I'm like, no, no, don't do that in here. Because I was in California at Catalina Island, and it was cold water, but it was moving a lot because it was kind of deeper and it wasn't very still, like it was moving. And the person was taking their BCD vest off and doing an exercise. And I'm like, no, 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 don't do that. And then I looked up and then I said, oh my gosh, if this person loses their BCD vest and their tank, now I have to share my air with the person going up 30 meters. And of course, when you're like emergency, you're like panicking, and then the person grabbing my air like, and then I'm like gonna die. So it's very dangerous. And so I kind of like never went diving with that person again. And that person's a dive instructor today, so go figure. But we didn't die or anything, but I knew, the point I'm saying is I knew that if there was a problem, I probably would have died. I don't like that. I don't like to know like one slip up, you're going to be dead. So it's kind of dangerous. So that's why when I go scuba diving nowadays, I just go more shallow water. And I know that if there's emergency, I can get up. But if I'm too deep, it creates a big problem, especially if you have two divers. You're supposed to go with two people, like a companion. So yeah, the Hudson River. Yeah, I don't know where that place is, but I've heard of it. But I dive in tropical places like the Philippines and stuff. I bought a really cool dive tank from America and I brought it to the Philippines. It's a steel tank and it's a little like, I don't know, I think it's like a 80 or something, a 60. It's a little small tank. It's enough air for one dive though. And it's steel and I don't have to wear the belt. So it's pretty cool. But I pretty much dive for fun now. I don't really want to be a dive teacher, or I don't really like care to have all these licenses and stuff. I just do it like a fun. I just have fun. I used to have a boat, a really big 16 passenger like a private bunker boat. And I used to go out in the ocean and just go diving, and that was pretty cool. And then when I was traveling around, somebody stole my anchor and the boat like hit the rocks and sunk. So I lost my boat during bad weather one winter in the Philippines. But yeah, the ocean's very dangerous, so you have to really be careful. Yeah, yeah, I'm on my like KLX 140 today. I have a CRF 300L, but I left it at home. When I go up these mountains, the little bike, the 140, just kind of puts up the mountains really good. But my Honda CRF is kind of big and a little bit heavy, and I've ridden it up here. Don't get me wrong, but now that I have this little bike, wherever it is back here, I got this little Kawasaki. It's fun because I kind of put a new pipe on it and new uh, carburetor. It has a carburetor, but it's fun and it just like goes up the mountains real easy. It's light, and the CRF's tall and heavy and it crashes easy. But this is more easy to like get on the ground. But yeah, it's fun, and I use the CRF now for just like traveling on the streets usually, and then if there's dirt or something like that. But I kind of go in the mountains only with the KLX now because it's really safe and it's really fun, and it's light bike. It's not heavy, and I don't really have any problems. If let's say I crash, I can pull the bike up really easy because it's really light and safe. So that's yeah. This is really beautiful view. I'll show you the views here. It's really gorgeous. We're on top of the mountains. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful here. And this is like God's country. This is really pretty. And it's just so nice. I'm trying to stabilize this camera. It's kind of hard. There we go. But yeah, it's really beautiful and gorgeous. You know, the Philippines is just a beautiful country. And, you know, it's just really pretty. And I've seen some weird stuff too in the Philippines. Like, I don't know. I've seen some weird things like in the skies, you know, flying around, and I don't know. I kind of don't watch for those things too much anymore, but I've seen some weird stuff though in the past, like hovering in the skies and things. So I don't know really what that was, but um, I had an experience a long time ago when I was like in college in America where like a ship came down, and it kind of like um, we were on top of this mountain like this where I'm at right now, and we were camping out in southern Utah, and I was with my best friend, and we were sleeping out on the ground without a tent, and we were looking for satellites in the sky, and we saw a satellite. This is when there wasn't that many satellites at that time. And and my friend fell asleep, and it was my best friend. He fell asleep in his tent or his little sleeping bag, no tents. And um, he he was sleeping, and I was kind of nervous because like it was really dark. But you know, if you go to a remote place, the stars are very bright. You know, there's no light. It's very beautiful on a clear night, like in the summer. And that's what we're in the summer. And it was so beautiful. The whole sky lit up, you know, with all the stars. Those are suns in the Milky Way. All those little stars are actually suns with planets. And there's thousands of them. And it was so beautiful. And I was like, this is like in the Philippines, I haven't experienced that like that. So I don't know what there was like no light. Like we're alone in the middle of nowhere, and the stars and the sky was so beautiful, and it was really kind of spiritual, you know, like enjoying it. And then my friend Kurt, he fell asleep, And I kind of was nervous, you know, like, I don't know, I was kind of spooked sleeping out there, like just laying out on the ground because we scared some cows. There were some cows. There's a cow right here coming up the mountain, probably behind me. But there were some cows, and we moved the cows away, and we slept in their like place. And like, out of here, cows, out of here. But it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and my friend was sleeping, and I was really tired, but I was just so spooked, you know, sleeping out there like under the stars. And then something like, I don't know what it was, it just suddenly appeared, like it just came down like from like the sky, and it just dropped straight down. And it was, I don't know, it wasn't really close. It was maybe a half a mile or so, like a kilometer away from us, or maybe a little more, but not that far. And I was like, what is that? You know, it was like a bright light, and it was like white, you know, like it glowed like white. And I was like, what in the world? It came down almost to the ground. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I didn't really believe in UFOs, to be honest with you. I thought they were fables. And I thought it was like a joke, people like wanting attention or whatever. So I'm not really like into UFOs at all at that time. and and I freaked out because I was thinking, you know, this thing could abduct me, you know, like I don't want to go on a spaceship or whatever the heck it is. And I don't want to leave the earth because I like this place where we live in. So I was kind of like freaking out. So I went ahead and like spooked out, and I woke my friend Kurt up because I'm like panicking, like, oh, and Kurt woke up and he thought it was a bear because there's lots of bears, like grizzly bears in the area, black bears and stuff. So Kurt thought I saw a bear, which there, I guess there is, because his uncle, or his grandfather, excuse me, that was his land in southern Utah. So I guess they have a lot of stories because his dad grew up on that piece of land. I didn't know that at the time. And so I told Kurt, and then when I screamed or got excited, the whatever it was, it took off and it left. It like it knew that I was spooked, like it was watching me. And the minute I got spooked, the thing like took off. And it was like down, and it did a zigzag pattern like this. And then it was like, oh, I never seen anything move like, no helicopters move like that. It stopped, and then it shot in the sky like, woo, and it disappeared. And I'm like, no way, no freaking way. I was like totally freaked out. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, this was like weird. This was like a spacecraft, man. And I don't smoke and drink and I don't take drugs. So I saw something really strange in the sky. And the next day, I finally fell asleep because I was so tired. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we were hiking like far. It was a big hike. It was expedition, like 25 miles as the crow flies, but more like 50 or 75 miles through the winding areas. And so the next morning, I told Kurt, my friend, about it. And the next morning, Kurt told his dad, like, Bryan saw something in the sky last night and stuff. So Richard, the dad, came up to me and he said, hey, Bryan. And he's laughing. He's laughing his butt off. And he said, I was in southern Utah we were hiking Zion National Park in the United States. And it's really like remote and it's really scary, like dark. But we had a group of like 8 people or something like that. But all the other guys were camped far away because Kurt and I, they all had tents and stuff. And Kurt and I didn't want to like have a tent. We just wanted to like sleep under the stars. And we didn't want to sleep next to the old guys. We wanted to like be by ourselves and like enjoy the sky and just like count the satellites that went by. It was cool. It was very beautiful. It was just amazing. I've never experienced that again in my life like that. That was just the whole night sky was lit up with stars, and the stars are, like I mentioned, were suns with their own planets in the Milky Way. So this was quite the show, and it was gorgeous. But the next day, Kurt's dad, Richard, he came up to me and he told me, like, hey, I heard you saw something, in the sky. And I said, yeah. I said, I don't know what it was. It probably was like a UFO because it just like shot up. It did a zigzag pattern and then it shot in the sky like really fast when I got scared and like was panicking. So it was watching me because it knew I was like freaking out. And I was totally in shock. So Richard started laughing at me. He was like, oh. And I said, what's so funny? He goes, oh, you're ridiculous and stuff. There's no such thing. So I said, well, I saw something. I don't know what it was. But, and then the whole trip, like every like day or so, Richard would come up and say, are you sure you saw like a UFO or something in the sky? And I said, yeah, I didn't know what it was, but I saw something flying really fast and it was coming down to the earth. It was scary. Like it was like a white, it was really bright though. It was like a white sun, it was very bright. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. Even to today, I've never seen that one. So he's laughing and he's telling all the guys, because we had a group of like 8 guys, and it was really a terrible, like hard trip. Like we did like zip lining down trees and stuff. And I almost got swept in the very fast river, almost like probably died and stuff on that trip. It was super scary. I never went back. I'm done with that one. Once was enough. These guys did it every year, and I thought it would be fun, but it was, really hard. It was a hard thing. I was really like beat up after it was like a week walking, and it was just horrible. But these guys laughing at me the whole time really made it worse, because I was just telling them, like, would you just like shut up? Like don't quit being like jerks, like just mind your own business. And so they were very rude and they were very like sort of nasty. And the trip ended and stuff, and we went home, and I was like, and I went to Hawaii the next week, and I sat in the jacuzzi like the whole week, and it's just enjoying, going, I will never go back to that place again. And I like sitting in jacuzzis and enjoying life, not like having these crazy stories. So anyways, what happened was about a year later, Kurt and I were like good friends in college and stuff. And then he used to invite me over every weekend for dinner at his house. And they used to make a nice dinner and stuff like that. And they were really nice. He had a nice family. And this is like a year later, 6 months or a year. I think it was like a year though. And we had dinner, and then Kurt's dad, Richard, the one who's laughing at me the whole time on this trip, he said, come here, Bryan, I want to talk to you. And I said, what's up, Richard? And he said, do you remember when we went to the Narrows and Zion National Park in Cedar City last year? And I'm like, yeah, I can't forget that very easy. And he said, well, I want to tell you something. He was kind of private, just me and him talking. And I said, what's up? What happened? And he said, well, my dad owned that property. He's a rancher, and it was like a big ranch for cows and stuff. It was like in the mountains, like where I'm at now. And he said, I grew up there as a boy, as a teenager and stuff. And that was, it's been my dad's property. It's been in the family. I didn't really know all that stuff. And I said, oh, that's cool. And he said, well, I've been like many years on that property, like I lived, I grew up there. I mean, that was part of my teenage life, which I did not know. And I said, oh, really? That's cool. And he said, I want you to know that I apologize for laughing at you, when we were on that camping trip, because I've seen those objects a lot when I was like living there, because he lived in California, but when he was a young boy, like ranching there, the cattle and stuff, he said, I've seen those objects many times at nighttime and stuff. So he said, what you saw was true, like it wasn't like your eyes didn't deceive you. He said, I've seen those things many times. And I said, Richard, why did you laugh at me? Like, why did you think that was so funny? And he said, well, like, it was so shocking that you told that story. He said, I just like, I don't know. I just, it, I just want to laugh so that, people would like not get scared because what you saw was true. There was like a UFO in the sky because I've seen it many times. I've seen many UFOs here. And I'm like, wow. So ever since that time, I don't like to go camping very much. I'm kind of scared because like, you don't know what's happening, and you hear stories of like people getting like, unalived, camping and scary things, animals and possibly UFO things abducting and stuff. And I'm like, I think I'm safer in my bed, like I have a I have a nice queen size bed and I think I'm more safe in my bed than sitting out. And so since that time, really, I used to camp a lot before that time, but ever since that time, I kind of got spooked and I never really went camping anymore. And I don't camp in the Philippines. I want to kind of wanted to, but I always chicken out. So maybe it's best not to go camping and just go stay at a nice hotel or something, but if you travel and stuff. But I don't know. It's just spooky. There's lots of weird stuff in this world, and you have to always be careful, that you don't get hurt. And, you have to sort of watch out for yourself and stuff. We have a few more comments. What do we got here? Me, I'm over 21. Is it safe to camp in the forest? Um, well, you know, you just have to like, like, I guess be careful. To me, it used to be safe to camp in the forest and stuff. I used to camp at a lot of campgrounds and stuff. I never really camped like, besides that camping trip we did, the hiking, I never really camped in the forest like alone. But I usually camped in America at like campgrounds where you have to pay and then you could pitch your tent and you could like have food and stuff like that. So that's a little more safe where you have other campers. You have like public restrooms and stuff, and there's electricity, I guess, if you need it. And, there's other people in case there's an emergency. You can notify somebody, like you could scream and there'll be like 10 people coming. But I think when you're all by yourself camping, like where I'm at right now, and I don't think I'd want to do that really because just it's beautiful and everything. But what if something happens? You're all by yourself. I'm like 5 kilometers up in the mountain right now. I'm very far. And like, I obviously need to get back down before it gets dark. But yesterday or whatever, I was doing a live stream, and it started raining because we're in the mountains and the rain usually hits the mountains. But so far, so good. We're not getting rained on. But I think camping in the mountains and the forest and stuff, I think it's a little scary because the world is so dangerous nowadays. Like you don't know what you're gonna have. There could be something mystical. There could be a crazy person, or like it could be an animal or anything. So I would say, like, after that experience I had like in Cedar City, Utah, going down to the Zion National Park at the river there, um, I just decided I wouldn't do that no more. So I don't really go camping, and I just kind of stay in my own bed nowadays. But before, I used to go camping like 2 or 3 times every summer. But I stay at those like pay parks where there's lots of people. So it's relatively safe because there's lots of people. But when you come up to the mountains, like where I'm at now, like uh it's just kind of, it's just kind of like wild. I do you want me to stop yapping? Okay, I'll stop yapping. But any questions? Anything you want to ask me? Anything? You can ask me anything. And one guy didn't like one of my like shorts because he said, you like talk too much. And I just like, I'm here on a live stream, so I guess I have to because it'd be boring if I just shut up like and said like, look at the mountains. But yeah, life is really good and it's fun, but you just have to be safe. You have to be careful and jump, being in the mountains alone and stuff. Maybe it's not good at nighttime. And I'm thinking right now, like, I got to get down. I got to get down from here. But yeah, it was an experience. And I believe in supernatural stuff now. So I think the Philippine people, uh, they really believe in the supernatural a lot. And there's lots of fables and lots of maybe truths too. So I don't know what to believe really. And I don't know what's true and what's not true. But I believe that, anything's possible. So you just have to be really careful when you're out in the wilderness, like I am now, alone in the mountains. And I have me and my motorcycle, so it's okay. I don't get too nervous. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the show today. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And yeah, I have good connection up here. I got a new cell phone. It's like iPhone 17, and it has some good 5G connection here, which is, I guess, because it's high on the mountain. So that's really cool, but it's just really fun. Yeah. Oh, you're a Filipino. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I love the Philippines. I love the Filipinos. I think that's really cool in the Philippines. A lot of Mojak TV. Oh, yeah. Long live the Filipinos. Yeah. Yeah. The Filipinos are cool and they're nice. The foreigners are typically more like, you know, bad behaviors. I'm a foreigner. I try to be more like a Filipino though. But a lot of the foreigners, like, not all, but there's a lot of the foreigners that have bad attitudes and stuff. And that one guy wrote me today and he said, just cancel your YouTube channel and get off of YouTube. I don't know who the hell that was. I'm like, I'm going to hide you from my channel because how dare you say that? And I'm kind of quick if somebody's like very bad and stuff. I just delete them, like I'm a good guy, like I'm not perfect, but I'm a good guy and I don't think I deserve people insulting me. So if people insult me, I just get rid of them. That's just my attitude. So if you know me and I haven't talked to you, you probably did something I didn't like, cuz I don't put up with people who like cross my line and stuff. I don't get mad and I don't seek revenge and I'm not a bad guy. But um, I'm from California. I'm from Southern California between San Diego and Los Angeles near Disneyland. And yeah, I liked it there and stuff. It's gotten kind of bad with like the people, a lot of crazy people there now. So I'm kind of happy to be in the Philippines. I feel much safer in the Philippines than I did in California because I was there a couple years ago and it was just crazy. There were lots of crazy people and like I was getting robbed every day and stuff like that. And it was just really dangerous. And I was like freaking out because in the Philippines, I don't have any problems. I just have beautiful nature. I have nice Filipino people. And if you're in the city in the Philippines, you have to watch your money, your bags and stuff. Keep all your stuff in front of you because there are pickpockets and stuff. But if you're in the province, like I'm in the province right now, there's nobody to like cause you trouble. So life in the province is really nice and it's safe. But when I go to California, like it's crazy because there's like lots of like weird people, like crazy people trying to rob you and like people just scaring you, wanting to grab your money and things. And so I'm just like freaking out every day though. It wasn't like once, it was like every day something happened. I'm at the gas station, somebody sneaking up, trying to steal my money out of my wallet or whatever. And then, and then, your brother-in-law is a foreigner? Oh, very cool. Where is he from? But I was happy to be in the Philippines because when I came back to the Philippines, I felt safe. I didn't have like all this trauma. I was stressed out of my mind because every day I'm starting to worry about like who's trying to steal. Oh, your dad is from Denmark? Oh, that's cool. I've never like been to Denmark before. I'd love to. It's a beautiful country. Oh, Florida and Texas. Oh, your brother-in-law's from there? That's cool. I've been to both Florida and Texas, and they're hot in the summer. It's very hot. But they're cool. I went on some cruises in Florida, and I went down to the Bahamas, and then they have like Orlando Disney World, like Disneyland, and I went there one day, and then I took a 1 week cruise to the Bahamas in Florida. And then another time I went years ago when I was single, I tried to meet a girl many years ago in Texas, in Florida, I mean. And then when I went to meet this girl, she she got scared, and then she like hiding from me, and she wouldn't meet me. So I got a rental car and I drove all around Florida. I had so much fun, and I went down to South Carolina and saw the like Civil War forts and stuff, and it was so cool. I went to the Fountain of Youth and drank the water. So it was nice. But I've been to Florida a couple times, and I've been to Texas one time, I think, when I was a young child. My uncle was stationed in the Army, the United States Army, and we went there to visit him. We drove, and it was far. And Texas is big. We drove like 2 days and nonstop through Texas, so it was really crazy. Oh, Graham, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm hanging out here. I'm on the KLX. I'll show you the bike here. I'm riding motorcycles today. I have my motorcycle right here. I'm on the KLX, and I have a weed stuck in my leg. But I'm riding motorcycles on top of the Great Mountain, and it's fun, like it's cool. And I'm all by myself, Graham, just chilling up here. And I get good reception for some reason. So it's kind of cool. I can do a live stream. I got my tripod, I put it in my backpack, and I have a microphone. So I'm able to I can talk to you from far away. I can go to my motorcycle. Maybe I can ride my motorcycle down here. Let me ride my motorcycle. It's getting late pretty soon. I'm gonna have to go home soon. So let me turn my motorcycle around and see if I can get on this thing without falling. I'm on top of a mountain now. I don't want to fall off the mountain. It's very far down there. It goes down like you're dead if you fall down that mountain. So I love my bike. It's so cool, the KLX. I parked it kind of in a bad way. It's cold. It just goes a few meters and it drops down like you're dead if you fall. I was doing wheelies and stuff coming up this mountain. It's really cool. This is my KLX. It's really cool. It's a nice bike. I turn this thing off. Whoa. And it's really nice. I got my helmet on and I just enjoy it. I love to ride. Riding is a big part of my life, and it's so much fun. And this little KLX has like the tires of the big bikes, like the 21-inch front tire and the 18-inch rear tire and the short frame. And it has like a 12 or 13-inch ground clearance, so you can go over logs and stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, the KLX. You like the KLX? It's good. The KLX is so cool. I would really recommend, especially Filipino dudes. Even I have like a foreigner guy who wants to go riding with me. And he wants to buy this big, like 400, 450 or whatever. I said, no, no, just get a small bike and I'll help you fix it up. We'll get a new pipe on it and we'll get rid of that stock carburetor and stuff. And we'll make this bike go like nice. I climb the mountains all over the place and I'm a heavy guy kind of, and the bike just pulls me up anywhere, mostly, I don't get too crazy, but anywhere like I want to ride, it takes me there. So I told my friend, don't waste your money on a big heavy bike, because if you get a smaller bike, like if you like if you fall down or whatever, you can lift the bike up. Also, it's the big bikes are so tall, like for your feet, it's hard because when you're riding in the mountains, sometimes you have to put your feet down because you're on mountains and dangerous kind of uneven surfaces. So the KLX is really great. And I would like to have another one, to be honest with you. They're so much fun. And but I have the big bikes, like I have the Husqvarna and I have the CRF 300L. I ride the CRF for like a street bike, and then maybe if there's dirt or something, I'll go on the dirt. And then I have a Husqvarna 250 production race bike, and I take that like at the beach when I just want to go fast, and I'm in like kind of the sand area where I can just rip it, open it up and go super. But in the mountains, you can't do that. You have to kind of go slower because it's dangerous and it's like uneven surfaces and mountains and stuff. So you really can't like go fast. You have to be technical when you're in the mountains. So that's why I like riding the KLX, because I can kind of like handle it good, but it's fun. I have a few trails that I love to ride, and this is one of them. But this area, when I was with the guys a couple, 3 weeks ago, I found this area only a few weeks ago with the bikers, the Filipino bikers. And it's such a nice area. It's so cool. And it's a place that I never found before. I never ridden, but it's good. I gotta get my glasses on because I got bad eyes. I can see far away, but little print is hard to read. Yeah, the 400s, Graham, uh, it's too fast. Like I used to always want like a 400 or 450. I thought that would be like my dream bike, but kind of in the Philippines, especially in the Philippines, all the trails are kind of technical and they're kind of like, you know, difficult, especially if you go with a Filipino. These guys are crazy, they'll take you on some of the hardest trails, like they'll push you to the limit. And if you have a big 400 or 450, like forget it, because these guys go out all day, and you get tired, especially if the older you get, it's hot. You're in the Philippines. It's tropical. It's hot. You're losing water, and then you have a big heavy bike, and it's very dangerous. And it's heavy, and you fall down. It's high, and you can't reach the ground very well. And you know, sometimes you go on these mountains. Like I'm on a mountain right now, and some of these guys, my friends, will take you up like really bad areas. Like I would never go there like alone, but these guys are a little bit on the crazy side. And some of these mountains, you go up and there's lots of like brush, like bamboo or whatever it is, like weeds, but it grows. It rains a lot in the Philippines, so everything is kind of growing a lot. In California, it's desert and dry, so you can see everything. But in the Philippines, it's tropical and lush. And when you're on the mountain, this happened to me a couple trips ago with the guys. I was in the mountains up here, and it was very dangerous. It's very dangerous. I would not go there by myself ever, but I had to follow the leader, with the guys. And it looked like there was ground right there. I was on this bike right here, and I put my foot down to because I lost my balance a little bit. The trail was small. I put my foot down, and there was no ground. It was going down the mountain, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I held on to the handlebars, and I just went down the mountain with holding the bike, because I didn't want to go like 1,000 meters down the mountain, you know. I was holding the bike, the KLX here, for safety because I didn't want to die. So it's really, and then I had to like, I told my friends, you know, help me get the bike back up because, and I'm very tired and I ran out of water and I was really suffering a lot. And my friend ended up finding a coconut and he cut open a coconut. And he felt so sorry for me. He gave me the coconut. He drank a little bit, and then he said, "Here, the coconut's for you." And I'm dying. I'm just dying of thirst. And I drinking the coconut like, ooh, and it was so delicious. It was so beautiful. But the Philippines, you don't need the 400, and you don't need even the 250. I have the 250. It's so big and heavy, and I just ride that on flat ground. I never bring it up the mountains. But this little bike is so much fun. And I recommend anyone because I told some of my friends in America, like, what do you think about the KLX 140? And my friends, a lot of them are motorcycle racers and riders. I have a large American motorcycle following and friends in America because I was racing there and stuff. And and one of my guys that's really into like motorcycles, and he said, "No, don't get the 140 KLX. It's not. It's okay. It's not that good, but it is good and it's great, especially for the Philippines. But maybe it's not good for California. It probably wouldn't be. It'd be kind of, you know, slow and stuff. It's not really a fast bike, but it's great for like technical areas, the mountains and stuff. It's really cool. I mean, it's so much fun. It's like the best. So in the Philippines, don't ever get a big bike. Just get a 140. A lot of the Filipinos have the 140. Some guys have the Honda 150, the CRF, but that's a little taller and bigger. And the CRF 140, I mean, the KLX 140 is really a great bike. You know, I would strongly recommend it. And I'm a bigger guy, and it's so much fun. It's like a little toy, and it has a lot of power. So I can motor up these mountains. It's cool. So get the 140 KLX if you ever think about getting a bike for the Philippines. Yeah, the Filipinos, they got great riding areas to explore. And yeah, it's just, you got to be careful. The people are good, you know. It's great. You've done Speedway and now you're enjoying trail riding, Brian. Great fun. That's right, Graham. I'm just enjoying the heck out of it. You know, I use a lot of my racing experience to save my life sometimes, many times on the street and on the dirt. And I think one of the blessings in my life has been to race speedway motorcycles because now I have so much experience that when I get in trouble, I kind of like know what to do. And I see some riders that don't have much experience. They'll just go riding over the mountain or something, and they'll almost die. And so having that racing experience really has been a big blessing because I'm confident. You know, I'm not arrogant, but I'm confident that I can kind of get out of anything. I go riding alone all the time, and everyone says, "Don't go riding alone. It's too dangerous." You know, it is dangerous, but if you know what you're doing, it's less dangerous, let's say. But I don't fear it at all. I mean, my friends are working, so I'm not going to wait for like the perfect time to go riding. I go riding when I want to. Like, who cares? Don't, if you wait your whole life for people and stuff, you'll just wait till you die and then you'll be dead. So forget that. Live your life and enjoy your life. Like, don't be waiting on everyone. Don't be like, if that person comes and riding with me, we'll have a good time. Forget that. Go riding. And then when they want to go riding, you go riding again with them. So that's the way you do it, really. Yeah. It's been fun. Yeah. It's cool to explore too, you know, because my friends that are Filipinos, they're all super nice guys. And they really like watch everybody. You know, like if somebody has a problem, everyone stops, takes care of them. If somebody has a crash, everybody stops and helps. And the people are very kind-hearted. You know, the riders that I go with. I go riding with this guy named Adonis and a few other guys, always new riders too. and they're so cool. You know, the Philippine people are really nice people, and the riders I've experienced, even all the different kind of groupings. I've been with several different groupings of riders in the Philippines, and they're all very kind, and they're all watching out. It's like a team. Everyone watches out for each other. You're not alone, and that's why we go real crazy places, because everyone will help everyone else. But I just have to make sure when I go riding, like I have lots of water, because I get dehydrated pretty easy, and I'm getting thirsty right now. But I just like, if I if I don't have water, or I run out of water, it creates a problem. And I had a backpack for water, but it didn't work very good. So now I just get a 1.5 liter of water, and I just carry that in my backpack, because you need water, especially in like the Philippines. It's very hot and it's very tropical, and you need liquids. I need liquids more than most people, because I sweat a lot and the liquids go through me, and I need to keep refilling my body with water. And I just drink water, when I go. But you need liquids. Liquids is life. And I've had several times where I ran out of liquids and I about died, because after all day of riding, you're so tired, because these guys are so crazy and they go through such dangerous, horrible places, that you need water. You need your body strong. And when you don't have water, your energy goes down. So always have lots of water. I do. Like my last ride I went, I had like a lot of water and I didn't have a problem. But when you run out of water and you're in the mountains in the Philippines on a hot day and you have no water, you're gonna like die. It's terrible. So yeah, always. That's what I learned that lesson the hard way, let's say. So yeah, Graham. Yeah, you gotta live your life on any Sunday. I that's my favorite motorcycle movie. And when I ride, I just like think of the movie, the music and the opening, the closing, and when Steve McQueen and Malcolm Smith and Mert Lawwell was riding in the sand dunes. I do wheelies just right here coming up this mountain. There's a grass area over here, and I'm just riding wheelies, doing cross ups. It's so amazing. And I feel like I'm in the movie on any Sunday, just just enjoying life. And when you're in the country like this, let's say, riding a motorcycle, it's very therapeutic. It's good for like your body. It keeps you young. It it releases endorphins and the stress. It takes all the stress out of you, and all you can think about is just you, the motorcycle, and the country. It's so beautiful and therapeutic, and it really helps you stay young. It helps you stay alive, because if you just sit in the house all day, if you're just sitting around all day and not exercising and stuff, you get old. You just get old fast. So that's why I'm always out on the motorcycle. I exercise as much as I can every day if I can. I don't do it every day, but I try to exercise every day, whether I go motorcycle riding or do exercising and stuff. So you got to stay like active, because it's so beautiful. And then your brain just releases these endorphins, and it becomes an amazing experience. And it just helps your whole being, everything. And I always think of that movie on any Sunday. And I just have a happy life. Every time I'm on a motorcycle, I'm very happy. So, uh, yeah, I'm in the Philippines right now, and I travel all over the Philippines. Thank you, Mojak TV. Yeah, I'm in the Philippines now. Like I retired and came to the Philippines, and I just have a great life. And it's it's really improved my health, because if you like enjoy your life and live a clean life, it really helps your aura. It helps your insides. It keeps you from getting old. It helps you stay young. So the Philippines has been really a blessing for me, because I was getting very overweight and very like out of shape in America. You know, I was eating too much fast foods, and I eat much healthier in the Philippines, and I live so much healthier now than I did before. So the Philippines has been really a big blessing. And then riding the motorcycle here, I'll show you my motorcycle. Riding the motorcycle has been like a big blessing. It's been really a blessing for me because I can just like enjoy my life, you know, just enjoy. And, you know, it's good. Um, I'm in Mindoro a lot, and then I'm going to be traveling to Cebu, and I travel all over really, but I'm pretty much always like all over the place. I like to see Mindanao. I like to go see Visayas. I like to go to Manila, but um, I like the country a lot because I can motorcycle ride. And I got my, this is the race helmet that I raced Speedway last time a couple years ago. I bought this. It's a really nice, O'Neill race. It's an old one now. It's a couple years old, but I use this. I bought this in America, and I raced Speedway. I bought one in the Philippines, and I had them ship it, and it was a very like cheap helmet, like made in China. So I was like, I'm not going to race on that in case I hit my head. You know, maybe I'll die on that thing. But this is a real heavy duty helmet. And I bought this. It was a closeout at Chaparral in San Bernardino. And it was really cheap. It was like 3,000 pesos. And it was expensive helmet. But I only bought it for like $75 because they're closing them out. And that cheap helmet that I bought was like 75 bucks. So that was a waste of money. But this is a very heavy duty O'Neill helmet. Very good helmet I use. But yeah, I'm always enjoying my life riding, and it's just a great life and just a cool place here in the Philippines. Yeah. Oh, you're in Rizal? Rizal is like over near Manila, isn't it? Or something like that. And I think that's near Manila or somewhere in that area. I haven't been to Rizal, to be honest with you, but I haven't been to a lot of places in the Philippines because the Philippines like is such a big country. You know, there's lots of islands, and there's so many places and stuff. And I try to be careful. You know, I don't want to get too crazy. You know, like have any problems as far as I'm a little like conservative guy, so I don't get too wild. Like some people like go to real wild places as far as like remote places, but me, I kind of like I just try to stay safe all the time and stuff because I just, I like the big cities too to travel because I go to like S&R and buy food and stuff and ship it home. And I like the cities a lot because I like going to malls and stuff, and I enjoy shopping and bringing food home because I live in the province. So there's not a lot of food here. That's a negative. So I bring food back as much as I can. Put that camera up. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll go by Manila sometime soon. I'm not sure. I think my next trip I'm going to Cebu, and I like to go explore places and stuff, see new places. Last time I was in Cebu, it was a few months ago. I bought an air wheel, and they're like a motorcycle suitcase, and I got the carry-on, and I used it when I was in Macau last week. I went to China, and I used it for driving around the hotels because they're very big, like very long, and so I was able to drive around inside the hotel on the air wheel, and that was cool. So it's fun because I had a foot injury about 6 years ago, so it's kind of nice to save my feet, to not be walking for hours on end. So that's why the air wheel is fun, and also it's like a motorcycle. I get to drive that motorcycle. So yeah. Oh, you're in Cebu about 6 months ago? I was there like about 2 months ago or so. I can't remember, but I had a good time. And I always have a good time in Cebu because Cebu's just like, I don't know, it's just a fun place. There's lots of food and lots of malls there, and there's some historical places. I went to an ancient like Chinese, like I don't know what it was, some kind of temple, and it was, I always find something new. You know, they have the Magellan's cross. I've been to 2 or 3 times where Magellan came and sort of came to the Philippines, and the cross is there and stuff like that. It's kind of a like a touristy spot, but I was there a couple times ago. I went to Magellan Cross, and so I like to see history too. You know, it's really cool, and the Philippines has some cool history. There's some neat places, and I haven't been. You know, there's more places to see, so I don't know. I'd like to go see Palawan maybe this summer. Maybe I'll go explore Palawan. I've never been there. So there's lots of places I still have not discovered because there's so many islands in the Philippines, like 7,163 or something. So yeah, well, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Cebu was cool. I went to the ocean park when I was there last time, and that was fun. It's a new, like, it's one of the biggest water parks in Asia, and that was fun. You know, going to Ocean Park, and that was a fun day over by the Seaside Mall in Cebu. I had a blast, and the Philippines is just a cool place, and it's not so expensive, you know, for foreigners. The dollar is at 58 now, so it's going up, and the British pound is at like 72 or something. So the foreigners definitely get the bang for their buck in the Philippines, and that's one of the great things about like people like retiring or visiting on vacation to the Philippines, is that you can really get a lot of value for your money, and that's what makes the Philippines really great for foreigners. So just got to behave in the Philippines and be good to the people, and you'll be fine. But yeah. Yeah, you can stop laughing now. It's okay. No, but it's getting dark soon, so I'm going to get off the mountain. The sun's setting over here, and I'm going to get on my KLX, and I'm going to take off and get back down the mountain. I had lights on the KLX, but they got burned. They like stopped working, so I don't have any lights. So I have to go to the store, the donut shop, and buy some donuts and stuff, and buy some milk. So I have to do some food shopping and stuff, and then I have to go home before the dark. But thank you for so much for hanging out today on top of the Great Mountain. It's so cool up here. And I have about 5 kilometers to get back down the mountain. And thank you for your well wishes to get back down the mountain. And I go down the mountain pretty fast, you know, like I don't mess around usually. Going up the mountain's a little slower because it's steep, but I go down pretty quick. When I was on my ride with the local guys last time, when we had four guys, they had me go first, and it was a very high mountain, and it was very dangerous. And I'm flying down the mountain, and these guys could not keep up with me. I was flying down. I don't know. But going up the mountain was harder because I was slower, and I was filming and stuff, but I didn't film going down the mountain, and I flying, and these guys could not even close to keep up with me. So I like to go, I think I have more fun going fast down the mountain. But yeah, nice knowing you too, Mojak. And I appreciate that. Please subscribe. And I appreciate you hanging out, and I appreciate your comments, because, you know, that's cool to chat. And I need my glasses a lot because I can't read the writing sometimes, but I can read them a little bit now. But nice meeting you. Nice meeting all of you. Thank you for hanging out. And we're going to get on this motorcycle right now, and we're going to go ride. We're going to go ride. I love to ride motorcycles. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. And come back again next time. We're going to do more live streams. And thanks for hanging out in the mountains. And please subscribe, like the show if you like it. And we're going to see you, of course. We're going to see you next time. Thank you. Take care. God bless.